Hello, hello, and welcome back to the TTP Field Manual. I'm Joshy. With me, as always, is Jonny, and today this is Book Club. We do this every month to 2 on average. Today we are very much going orky and talking about the Red Gobbo Collection, which was our little book club we wanted to do for December 2025. Because the Red Gobbo is the whole Warhammer Christmas-oriented storyline they go with. But we're recording it at the end of January because we had a wee break. Ha! How are you, Jonny?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. How are you?
I'm good. That's it.
That's it. Cool, guys. We're done.
I'm good. All right. Book, okay. Next book, this one. All right. Bye, everybody. Yeah, I'm good. When you asked me, my brain did the thing where you have all the information, but as soon as someone actually asks you, the brain's just radio silent. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all right. Keen to get back into doing this more regularly. I do enjoy it, but the break time was also quite lovely.
Oh, yeah?
Nice to just do nothing for a bit, you know?
I mean, you got to spend it in the far, far lands and have a snowy Christmas, unlike me.
We'll have to change that next year, hey?
Oh, God. I don't know if I can afford that. I don't know
That's
how you do
okay.
it.
To tell you my biggest travel hack, Jonny,
Get someone else to pay for the flights.
that helps if you want to do a trip very soon after your last trip. Haha. But wherever you go, really helps out if you're staying with family because accommodation is the real cost killer.
I don't know. Have you seen Australian passport costs?
Yeah, it's a bit insane. I'm not looking forward to when I have to renew mine.
I don't have one.
Mine expires in 2 years. I just realized.
Oh, damn.
Damn. It's fine. No worries. Anyway.
You love paying extra tax.
I do. I love healthcare.
Anyway, today is Red Gobbo.
We're talking about orcs, and they don't really understand what healthcare means.
Yeah, they do.
This is the warbler.
They forgot the care
It
part.
wobbles. The Red Gobbo, Jonny. Overall, TLDR impressions. Hit me with it at the start.
I, unlike you, kind of enjoyed this book. I did like that it wasn't too long, even though it's an anthology. It's just like a couple of short stories and some little bits in the middle. But it was a good little bit of fun. I don't think it was very Christmassy, which was surprising, considering the Red Gobbo is meant to be their Christmas character, but it's more like the rebel of slaves. It's all about the Grot revolution.
They cannot pronounce it very well, and I love it.
Orc English is hilarious.
That actually leads into my overall impressions about it. I thought it was absolutely entertaining. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
I enjoyed it when I was listening to it. But overall, I did not enjoy my experience listening to all of it like one after the other. I think if I was listening to these as a novella here, a short story there, I would enjoy it. I'd be like, haha, yes, that was a fun orc story. We love the Red Gobbo. But listening to it as a collection, I think just wore me out pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
And I think part of that came from the fact that each of these stories are obviously quite light and entertaining and aren't particularly serious or involved in an overall plot that is particularly significant, which is fine. I don't mind that at all, really. But then whenever, except for maybe the second novella, the Red Gobbo comes about, the story wraps up quite quickly. And so I spend the whole time in each of the shorts and novellas, mostly, waiting for the Red Gobbo to appear. And when he does, I'm like, oh, it's the last half an hour. Okay. And even in the third one, the third novella, the Red Gobbo brings about a goblin or a grot revolution. And it's described as happening outside the hut. And then 10 minutes later, the POV character dies and that's it. And I'm just there huh? Can I have a bit more, please?
It would have been nice.
But it was fun. There was a lot more chuckling and a lot more giggling in this one than any other of the previous book clubs. I don't know about you, but Fulgrim wasn't very funny.
No, this was definitely a nice change from those. These books are absolutely hilarious. They're dumb and silly and full of stupid grot things and orc things. The voice actor did such a good orc impression, although there were some moments where it felt like he confused his accents a little bit.
A little bit, but considering it was one person,
Yeah.
he did very well.
Did very well.
Who was it again? Where's the
Title info.
Reddit's here? Yeah, where's the credit info?
Harry Myers was the narrator.
Very good. I feel like I've heard his voice before.
Probably.
Let's see. No, I don't need authors. I need title details. Harry Myers. What else has he done? Okay, he does some of the other orc stuff. That's very interesting.
He
does the War Boss. He does Grotsnick the Mad Doc.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of the fantasy stuff that are also a bit orcish. Sorry, a bit gitsy. Oh, he does the Gloomspite stuff. Okay, interesting. That might actually be more my cup of tea. And more of a novel done with his voice work.
Only one way to find out, eh?
One way to find out. Would we like to now start to talk a little bit more specifics about the individual stories?
Yeah, sure. Do we start at the start with the Gobbo's Revenge?
The Gobbo's Revenge. Yes, the Gobbo's Revenge. So not every story is written by the same fellow. The first one, the Gobbo's Revenge, is done by Mike Brooks. Mike Brooks is quickly making a very big name for himself. In the last few years, he's done the majority of the orc novels, such as the Uftak Black Orc series with Brutal Cannon and the Big Daka, but he's also done such novels as, wait for this, War Boss, Huron Blackheart, Master of the Maelstrom, The Lion, Son of the Forest, Lilith Hesperex, The Queen of Knives, and most recently, the Eldari Corsair novel Voidsguard.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn, right?
Dude's been around.
Dude's been around, and he consistently writes things that everyone in the community says, yep, that one was my favorite.
Yeah, people like this guy.
Yeah, so the Gobbo's Revenge. What'd you think about this one, mate? With Fingwit.
I'm going to say this was Fingwit, the assistant to a orc mech. I like the idea of the Grots being so ingrained with this like slavery kink that as soon as their mech is dead, they're like, what do we do now? Who's going to tell us what to do? And they kind of all just lose the plot a little bit and resort to their natural instincts, which is steal. I really like the build-up of Fingwit into the Red Gobbo. I thought as like a, kind of origin story for this character, I actually enjoyed it.
I remember when we first started reading this one, you reached out and said, I just finished the first one and I thought it was a blast.
It was good fun.
And it is very fun. It's very fun. I really like how you described the Grots as having a slave kink. And that makes a lot of sense in perspective. They really have this interesting thing where they hate being slaves but don't know how to not be slaves.
Yeah. It's like this inbuilt like reaction. They don't want to be, but they just can't help it. And it's part of that like orc culture of the big lead, you know? The big rule.
So Fingwit and his bunch are with their mech mate, and they're doing a boarding action, and the big mech gets got. I was going to say gets Grot then. He gets Grot, whatever, we'll go with it. And then it falls to Fingwit to rally the other Grots, but of course there's a lot of like, well, I don't want to do that, or why should we do that? Or, well, I should be in charge, actually, until Fingwit ends up acquiring an orc shooter, which is really big and definitely meant for an orc and not a Grot. So there's this huge debacle about that until a lowly orc is like, oi, what are you sogging kids doing with that?
Yeah.
And then that leads to a bit of a spiral where all the Grots are then spread out. Fingwit actually ambushes the orc and liberates his mates from dying in a pointless firefight because the orc said so. And then, how's it end? They commandeer the bridge of the ship, and then did they crash it into something else?
Yeah, they drove through something.
Yeah, that was fun.
They were like, oh,
That
we need
was
to
fun.
get out of here. So they just drive the ship into another, like the enemy forces ship to escape.
And supposedly they managed to open up a huge a huge hole in the defensive line, and that allows the other orc forces to just push through. So go Fingwit.
And then there's this little moment at the end where, you know, the orcs take responsibility for the ship that, you know, broke the line. All of the Grots are like, yeah, but we know what really happened. And there's kind of this like building of a myth almost around this Red Gobbo character that comes and saves the day. And it was the Grots that did it, not the orcs, you know, and it's that forming of that initial spiral into rebellion.
Oh, yeah. What I like about this one is that it ties into the background of Mike Brooks's other orc novels, where it focuses around the named character Uvtak Blackhawk challenging the leader of the war that they're all sort of engaged in, the Tech War, because it's led by a big mech.
Yep.
So it's a Tech War this time. And just the names some of these orcs get. Listen to this. They were kept in line, however, by the memory of Old Fang Crump Thunder's explosive death after he fought Damek Lord in a failed attempt to seize control of the Tech War.
Orc names are the greatest. And if you like anything that you've seen or heard about like the way orcs act and all of that and how silly things can get, these books are a great short entry into that lifestyle of orky culture.
I did enjoy the Gobbo's Revenge.
It was fun.
But if I may, I really enjoyed the second one, the Gobbo's Demise.
The Gobbo's Demise. This book was by far the best of the three novellas in here, for sure.
Gobbo's Demise by Denny Flowers. So Denny Flowers hasn't done too much. Most recently, he has done the Grotsnick novel, which came out this year, The Mad Doc, the guy who put Gazkul Thraka back together, I think twice.
Yep.
But as well, he is relatively well known for a couple of novels long series known as the Above and Beyond series or the Outgunned series, basically following a fighter pilot, actually, a very famous pilot known as Lucille von Schad. Apparently it's quite good. It gives me vibes of like old pulpy Air Force stories, if that makes sense, like the old mill sim fictions.
Yep.
So apparently that's good. And that's what he's known for. But we're talking about the Gobbo's Demise, and I really enjoyed this one. What did you like about it?
This book follows Red Snot, who doesn't believe in these myths of the Red Gobbo at all and is very self-centered. This guy is like, I am going to be in control, when his runt herd Killerskun is shot by a sniper while they're inside this church. This is one of the Adeptus Sororitas churches, if I remember correctly.
I mean, it's all churchy. From what I understand of the background, because there is a couple of other perspectives.
Yeah.
The word bearers send cultists to desecrate a church. I don't know if it really matters. No, I remember now. It was a church of the angels, so a sanguineous
yep.
reverent church. And the old prophet that runs and speaks from it, or the old preacher, that's the word. The old preacher is the target for the cultists so that they can do some very bad things to his body and mind to break the faith of the world. But then inside happens to be a bunch of grots in the walls. And what happens later is just a whole Home Alone phenomena.
Yeah, there's booby traps, there's stupid moments, there's a moment where there's a hole in the door and a cultist pokes his eye through to see what's going on inside and gets his eye gouged out by a grot.
And the arm as well. The guy puts his arm in the door to open and they just like stab.
They just nail his arm to the door on the inside. Like there's bombs going off and traps set and small runty grot crawling through the pipes down to where their like fuel silo is.
My favorite character in the whole collection, Miggies!
And he's just like the dumbest of dumb.
And he has
great.
such a dopey ass voice. It's like, Miggies!
And then
Whoa.
the Grots are kind of like stuck. Red Snot has convinced the last remaining preacher, the leader of this church, that he is actually, you know, one of the good guys and is there to help him get out.
Oh, that was funny. The preacher's, what does he say? Oh, because he's blind.
Yeah.
Oh, you're short. Are you a mutant? He's like, yeah.
One of
I'm a
them
short
rattling folk.
newbie. Oh, rattling. That's not very perfect of you. You're not a good human. And we're just like, there's a bitch.
Yeah.
And then the whole time Red Snot's like, oh, I've got a prisoner.
But Red Snot's the only one that can speak Yumi, so all the other Grots are like, what's he saying? Oh, he's saying how a good little slave he's gonna be.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
They're kind of trapped, and the Red Gobbo comes flying through a window and is there to like rally them and get them out of this church. And that's kind of the premise of the book. While Red Snot's like, screw this guy. Why should we follow him just because he's got a red coat?
Yeah, right. And wasn't the Red Gobbo in Demise actually Thingwit?
It is Thingwit, yep.
But he is not doing so good. He's a little bit injured.
He takes a wound as they're attempting to escape. And, you know, they light the whole building on fire and they're climbing up through the rafters to escape. And there's this D&M moment where all the other Grots escape and it's just Red Snot and the Red Gobbo. And the Red Gobbo's like, oh, I'm not doing so good. I got stabbed. And basically passes up the mantle of the Red Gobbo to Red Snot. It's kind of like this moment of growth for Red Snot as he realizes that the Red Gobbo isn't just one dude, it's an idea. And gets dragged into this revolushun.
Of which then there's a follow-up short story that's actually set beforehand called The Wrong Type of Green.
Yep.
Same author.
Same
but it
author.
portrays a scene where a sniper, if you will, unfortunately assassinates the runt-herd killer skin. And then in the Gobbo's Demise, you find out that Thingwit has a foldable rifle that's used by ratlings, who are known as snipers often.
Yep.
They're like,
So it's heavily implied that the Red Gobbo is the one that killed Killer Skin and freed the Grots. Heavily implied, but not directly mentioned. And I think that's a cool little way to do it, you know? I definitely was listening to this book while driving and had a very brief moment where I didn't realize the book had ended and the short story had begun. And I was like, hold on, why is he alive? Did I miss something? And I had to go back a bit and be like, oh, it's the prequel.
Yeah, I got to this point in the collection and had to go back a couple of times because I was forced to be on a train for several hours. I'm thinking maybe 6 or 7, you know?
6, 7.
I had to do it. Forgive me, everybody. But I kept falling asleep because, you know, you're sitting down, not too much to do. And it was a fun story, but eventually you just sort of nod off. And then I come back and it's really hard to tell where you are because no matter where you are, it's just Grots going, what are we gonna do? Oh, zogging hell. Oh, pull your snot in. Oh, who put you in charge? And I'm like, sorry, which Gobbo am I listening to? Which novel am I up to?
The idea of this being an anthology really makes it run together a little bit.
Please just Grots.
While it's nice to have the ability to listen to them all or read them all at once, it is a negative for this sort of novel where, you know, other people would have listened to them completely separately and read the book and then had to go find the short story where they fill in the plot, you know, and then move on to the next one a year later or whatever it is.
Yeah, have a fun few hours of an afternoon around Christmas time. Have a little chuckle because there are the silly Grots doing the silly Grot things again. All right, see you next year. But we're not done yet with the collection.
No, there's still another book.
The Gobbo Rides Again is a really fun one. So if number 1 was Grots mid-boarding action deciding to band together and hijack a spaceship, and number 2 was a bunch of Grots unfortunately forced to take refuge in an imperial church whilst it's being assaulted by cultists and then playing Home Alone. Number 3 is, I would say, possibly the more unhinged story of the 3 novellas, where a pain boy named Stimmer, which I think is a great name.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic name.
It's a great name. Finds himself in a growing conflict within his orc tribe, and they start to fight against each other. A little bit of orky civil war. If they have no one to fight, they fight each other. And so it's him going around to check on his mates. Not that they are particularly good mates, but he ends up interacting with a mech boy, a weird boy, his Grot Goggles, who keeps running off to do things in the background. You're like, what's Goggles up to? As the only Grot in a Red Gobbo story, I wonder.
This book was wild. It was completely focused around orcs, not Grots, with this weird plot of the Grots aren't acting right. They're not trying to backstab us. They're not trying to kill us. They're kind of just doing as they're told. Why? That's not Grot-like. And he goes and sees his boss, and the boss is like, oh, just fix it. You got a couple of days, and if you don't, I'll kill you. And yeah, he just like walks around this blood axe encampment, just meeting all the dudes around.
There's so many funny moments in this one that I routinely quote it to you.
Yeah.
When he's being instructed in the ways of the pain boy by his, I suppose, mentor. As the mentor is passing away, he's explaining orky organs and surgeries like really quickly. And he gets to the heart of the orc and he just says, "This is the warbler. It wobbles." And that's it. That's the whole explanation before he's like mentioning to the brain. He's like, "I'm not sure what this one does yet, but it's probably important."
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And that's all the training you get as a pain boy. Because Stimmer's like, I don't know how to be a pain boy. He's like, well, too bad. You are now. I really like they meet up with a mech in his like shop, and he's kind of going through a fight with multiple other orcs who are trying to like siege his workshop because he sold the same bike to all of them.
And then simultaneously, he runs out of supplies partway through. And that's what's really upsetting him because he's running out of bombs and such.
Yep. And then ends up offering the bike to the boss to try and get help out of the problem.
I love how they describe the war boss as this absolutely hulking orc who is so big and thick that just the visual sight of him inspires everyone to just kowtow to him.
Yeah.
Except as a lot of orc war bosses tend to at least have some sort of charisma and cunning about them. This guy, he's just there like, yeah, we're gonna do a big fight.
He's just the biggest of boys.
He's the biggest, boomiest dum-dum around. And everyone takes one look at him and was like, I ain't crossing that guy, he's too big. But this one had my favorite of the protagonist Grots, which is Goggles. And Goggles seems to be a manipulative son of a gun, whereas the last couple, like Thingwit seemed to be a little bit more of that classic Grots are slaves kind of mentality, and Red Snot was more of a selfish kind of Grot mentality. Goggles has a bit more of a rebel streak about him, and the whole novel, if you were to listen to it again, you could definitely understand what he's off to do, off to sabotage this, unionize Grots over there, influence Stimmer to go over and talk to somebody to help build some killer cans, which are notoriously Grot-controlled vehicles. And then even paints the seeds of like, Stimmer, boss, what have you ever thought as a pain boy to make a Red Gobbo? And then Stimmer's like, yeah, maybe I will. And goes around, do you know about the Red Gobbo? Can you make a Red Gobbo? What's the Red Gobbo do? I'll tell you a story about the Red Gobbo. And it's a little forced, but I think it works quite well. Just in the middle of the Civil War.
It only works because it's orcs, right? Like, they're dumb enough that they would be like, oh, have you ever heard of the Red Gobbo? What do you know of him? Because they're just that, I don't want to say dumb. They don't see Grots as anywhere near the same level as them, so they don't bother to learn anything about them. But it's like he literally guides Stimmer around this whole camp, just screaming Red Gobbo at everything and everyone nearby, just spreading this rebellion bit by bit. And it's not until the very end where Goggles is like, yeah, I am the Red Gobbo. They try to make all these other Red Gobbos by being like, oh, it's a goblin, it's a Grot with a shiny shirt and hat and gun, right? And they're like giving out hats and guns and shirts to these Gobbos to see if it makes them more rebellious.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely hilarious shenanigans as everything seems to fail, and then they make a Red Gobbo killer can, you know? And then it goes absolutely berserk and just rips through part of the camp because it's a killer can. And that's what they do.
One thing I really liked was that there was some sort of actual conversation between Goggles and Stimmer towards the end.
Yeah.
With Goggles saying a lot of the classic Grot rhetoric. Yous just look down on us, Grots. Fix this, do that, fix this, go over there, scrap that. Well, why don't you Zoggin do it? Without us, uses nothing. And then Stimmer's like, oh, you Zoggin git. But you know what? I like you. You've got ambition. You got tactics. Here, have this. And gives him like his
goggles.
Actual namesake goggles. And Goggles like, thanks, boss. And Stimmer says something to the effect of, make it a good end, will ya? And then Goggles like, yeah, all right. With the killer cat. That was good fun. I liked number 3 a lot more for its like independent story. I think if I was just listen to these yearly as they came out, I would remember this one the most fondly.
Yeah.
But for a Red Gobbo story, I preferred the Gobbo's Demise personally.
I totally agree. And that just leaves us with that little short story, The Instigator.
Which is also by the same author of the third one, The Gobbo Rides Again. The short story is The Instigator. Should have said the author is Rhuairidh James, or Rhuairidh James. It's spelt with, I believe, that classic Irish nonsense where you don't actually know what it's meant to say if you're not Irish. I could be wrong, though. I don't want to assume anything here. Let me just put this into the Jujul. Yeah, it is Rory. Oh, sorry. I'm just about to start a civil war. It's Gaelic. Oh, no.
Oh, then you don't know what it actually says at all.
So, yeah, Rory, masculine Scottish Gaelic name, derived from Old Irish. So, I don't know. I'm Aussie. I don't know crap about culture. But Rhuairidh James is a new author on the block and is most recently getting some attention because they are in charge of writing an upcoming novel, their first actual novel. They've done a couple of short stories besides the Gobbo stuff, but they're about to do their first novel, a Krieg Death Rider novel. In fact, I think yesterday he had an interview on Warcom all about the book he's writing.
Oh, nice.
How about this? This is the synopsis I have on Lexi. Commissars attached to the Death Corps of Krieg often have to rein in their regiment's zeal as often as they inspire their troops. In this particular situation, Commissar Hesh is ordered to find the blah blah siege regiment of the Krieg and make them withdraw from the doomed planet. Not an easy task as they ready themselves for a final suicidal assault on Tau Empire lines.
Our book. Nice.
A commissar stealing Krieg cavalry as they charge Tau Empire. Interesting.
Could be a decent read.
Could be. I will be paying attention to the reception on that one. But yes, it does leave us with another short story, doesn't it?
Yeah, The Instigator, which is another one of these like prequel moments focusing around when young Stimmer was, well, when Stimmer was younger, I should say. And his first encounter with a Red Gobbo while accompanying an orc raiding party on boarding a Space Hulk.
Yeah, this was quite fun. I enjoyed this one a lot.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I think this one did a better job than the first short story of like filling in those moments and like giving you an idea of what happened leading up to these events. I thought it was good.
There's not too much to say about it. Stimmer and all of his compatriots are joined by some freebooters as they are looting at Space Hulk, as pointed out. But as they go through, they seem to think that there are things in the ship that are abducting all the younger orcs. They're sending specifically the young orcs to go check things out, but then will be found dead or eviscerated or just straight up missing. And for a while, they even start to allude to it being gene stealers, which I thought was kind of neat that the orcs are somewhat aware of them.
Yeah.
But then they start to remark that it's not fun fighting these things because they're not fighting, they're hiding and being sneaky about it. And it's not fun. And so the morale of the orcs drops not because they're losing bodies, but because the fight is not fair.
So orky.
Only for it to be Grots booby-trapping the ship by setting bulkhead doors to slam onto orcs as they're in between the doors and things of that nature. And then by the very end, the Grots are just swarming the orcs with many Grots piling onto individual orcs and shivving them. And then that's how Stemmer knows about the Red Gobbo.
Yeah. And that's that seed being planted for the main novella. But no, that's about it for this one. Being such a short series of short books in an anthology, like these books were good fun and on their own are very well done. And yeah, definitely worth checking out if you enjoy it.
I was very pleasantly surprised about the quality of them.
Yeah.
I just got a little over reading so many of them back to back.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But besides this Red Gobbo collection, I imagine we're going to get a second one in a couple of years' time, because already we have, in 2024, Long Live the Red Gobbo by Justin Woolley, which is another novella with Justin Woolley writing some occasional Astra Militarum stuff as well. He does also a short story in the same year called The Caper Crew. And most recently, at the end of 2025, just past, new author Andy Ewington put out yet another novella, The Red Gobbo's Last Stand, which goes, a grot named Bodgit thrusts into the depths of a recently emerged space hulk where the odds of survival are low for space marines, let alone Gretchen. To make matters worse, Captain Bloodhook is out to make the poor grot's life even more miserable, but the spirit of the Red Gobbo smolders inside Bodgit's breast, and his newfound revolutionary power might be just enough to outwit the freebooter captain and escape from the malformed Hulk's clutches.
Seems fun.
Seems fun. Seems a bit similar to what we've received already, but I'm sure it's good fun.
Yeah, and that's the big takeaway for these books is they're not serious. Just enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I would enjoy more. I would definitely enjoy more. But I'm still waiting, GW, for those Grot Revolutionary minis to come back out of the Forge World graveyard. And I would like there to be an actual HQ for the Red Gobbo, please, and not just Legends Christmas dioramas. Please and thank you.
Yeah, move away from the Christmassy thing for, one mini and have him be on the table. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Although, I have to ask, what's your favorite Red Gobbo mini?
Ooh, that is a good question.
They do one like every year, right?
Yeah.
They've done one since 2019. So, there actually used to be an old miniature that looks very revolutionary. He's got a red star on his slugger, which I don't know about that one, but okay. There's a couple of minis. I don't know if that one's just a diorama. Or, I think it's a diorama. So 2019, there was a Red Gobbo, very Christmassy. His hat is literally a Santa's hat. He's got a flare pistol that's a Christmas-colored candy cane vibe, and his, raising the banner is just a Christmas tree with a star on it. That's pretty cute. 2021, it has another Red Gobbo looking a little mad, riding a little squig that has antlers.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what they go with a lot for the cover arts of their stuff is him on a squig, yet there's never been a squig in his collection, I think.
Not in those first
Except
three.
for a
Maybe
hair
there is
squig.
later.
Maybe. 2024 is really fun. It's more of a diorama piece where the Red Gobbo and a much smaller Grot is dressed like a Santa's elf, and they're with a snowman, and they're gonna snowball fight ya.
I do like this one. I think that's probably my favorite of them.
It's mine as well.
Yeah.
It goes well with the whole commemorative, holiday-esque mini, and not just one that you're like, so what are the rules for this guy?
Yeah, yeah.
And then recently we had the Tin Boy, which is him in a big, what's the word? Nutcracker, like a nutcracker, right?
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Nutcracker Tin Man suit.
I think it's meant to be a killer can, but in the shape of the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
And he's holding the Bon Bon
checks out.
Bomb.
Bon Bon Bomb. I love that. Yeah. I think Killer Can Tin Man is exactly what it's meant to be. You're right.
But no, I definitely like the snowman one the most. He's cute.
He is cute. You know, because we did this, I almost bought you the Tin Boy. But the Tin Boy just didn't quite sell me as much as it would have if it was the snowman.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the Red Gobbo. Any other remarks you have about the leader of the rebel Grots, Jonny?
I am interested to read more. I just don't know if I'm willing to spend a credit until it's an anthology.
Same.
Lit RPGs got me feeling the blues when I see a book's only, 9 to 12 hours long.
After He Who Fights, when I see 9 to 12, I'm like, yes, I can do this. This is doable.
This is doable. I'm like, 9 to 12, that's not a very good deal. What do you mean it's not more than 18 hours long?
I agree when comparing them, but I'm not as time rich with my days as you are with your occupation,
Yeah.
allowing you to chuck it on the background quite easily.
But yeah, I think that's about it for this book.
First proper Orky book.
Yeah. Well, make sure that you go and read Dropsite Massacre, which is the next one. We will be recording that very soon at this rate, depending on how long it takes Josh to get through the book.
So, ideally, the Dropsite Massacre Horus Heresy novel by, I think, John French. That one will probably come out at the very end of February or the beginning of March.
You got time.
You got time, but we might record it sooner. John French. Isn't he the Ahriman series guy?
I believe so.
Interesting. All right. Cool. So, Horus Heresy, Dropsite Massacre, that's the next one. If you're still here, thank you very much for listening. Feel free to join our community Discord, links in the bio, and have a chit chat with us about books and other things. Do it, or the Red Gobbo will get ya.
He'll get you.
He'll shank ya. Not really. We don't encourage violence, but the Red Gobbo will always be there in our hearts for the revolution.